Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to the Men Save Your Marriage show. My name is Terry. I'm your host. I did an autopsy on my failed marriage, and now I use the lessons that I learned to coach other men on how to save their marriage before it fails. I'm going to share with you the things I wish someone would have shared with me before my marriage failed. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hello, gentlemen, and welcome back. You just heard the bell in the introduction. You know what that means. That means that we are in the ring together to fight to save your marriage. And today is episode number 75. This is the final installment in the War Against Fear series. Today we kind of lay down the gauntlet. Again, you heard the bell. That means we're in the ring to fight. This is it, the final round for the War Against Fear series. This series has, it's kind of stripped us down to truth. You've seen how fear rules your life. You understand how passivity destroys respect, how movement builds leadership, and then finally, in the last episode, how brotherhood restores strength. Remember, you're not meant to fight this alone. Now, gentlemen, now it's time for a decision. Because talk time is over. Every man listening to my voice now on this episode today that has gone through this series will walk away from this moment and you will do one of three things. If you really took in the information that I have given you, if you really took in the lessons that I have taught you, and you've really come through this understanding, and you were going to do one of three things. You will either lead, you will follow, or you will get out of the way. That's it. There are no other options. There is no middle ground. There is no thinking about it, and there is no pretending. I've given you all the understanding you need. It's time to man up and make a decision. The war that you are in, because if you're listening to this, that means that your marriage is probably in shambles. At the very least, it is struggling. You know that you're not the man that you could be. If you're listening to this, you know that there's more to life than the life that you're living right now. You know that you've been passive. You know that there are things that you should be doing, that you should be speaking up about, that you should be initiating, that you're not. If you've made it this far, you know the war that you are in demands clarity. And you also know that fear thrives in confusion. Nobody is coming to bring it more clear for you. You have to be the one to create the clarity in your life. If you've made it this far, let's be honest, you already feel that pull inside of you, that tension between who you are and who you could be. This episode is where that tension ends. It's where you choose what kind of man you'll be from this point forward. So do me a favor. If you intend to listen to the rest of this episode casually, just shut it off. Just shut it off. But if you really invested and you really feel that tension and you're really tired of that tension between who you are and who you could be, then you listen like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, quite frankly, it does. So let's begin, shall we? Point number one. If you lead all the way. Leadership is not a word. It's not a personality type. It's not a posture. When you lead, you own everything. The responsibility is always yours. There is never, ever any passing of the blame or the responsibility. It always lays at your feet. This is what it is to be a leader. When you lead, you own everything. Your choices, your direction, your tone, your outcomes. Most men think leadership is about control, and they are wrong. It is not about control. It is about clarity and responsibility. And if you are going to lead, then lead all the way. That means no more half efforts, no more leading when it's convenient, no more waiting for her to respond before you decide to act. Leadership starts with you leading yourself. That's where it begins, gentlemen. You wake up early. You handle your business. You stay disciplined. You build systems in your life that keep you aligned with the man you are becoming. Then you extend that leadership outward from yourself into your home, into your marriage, to your children, in your professional life. You stop outsourcing the emotional climate of your house to your wife's mood. You set the tone. Did you hear me? You stop outsourcing the emotional climate of your house to your wife's mood. You set the tone. You bring calm where there's chaos. You bring direction where there's drift. You bring standards where there is apathy. That, gentlemen, is leadership. And yes, it's going to cost you. It'll cost you comfort. It'll cost you your pride. It'll cost you the option to quit when things get tough. But leadership is the price of legacy. And I can tell you this from experience. If you don't take the mantle of leadership, it will be a regret that you live with forever. If you will lead, then lead all the way. Lead when it's hard, lead when you're tired, lead when she doesn't respond the way you hoped she would, but continue to lead. Because leadership is not about her reaction, it's about your responsibility. When you lead consistently, she begins to trust again. Not immediately, but eventually. She starts to see that you don't just talk like a leader, you live like a leader. And that's when she starts to soften. That's when she starts to follow. Because women follow presence, not pressure. So if you will lead, then lead fully. With conviction, with courage, with consistency. Point number 2. If you follow with humility. Listen, not every one of you are ready to lead right now. Not every man is ready to lead right now. That's not an insult. That's just honesty. Excuse me. You might be broken. You might be lost. You might be trying to rebuild after years of drift. If that's you, then your next move is not to lead, it is to follow. But listen to me carefully. Following is not weakness. Following is how leaders are built. The problem is most men think following means submission. It doesn't. Following means humility. You find a man who's been where you are and come out stronger. You find a man who is leading with authority, with faith, and with discipline. You listen to him, you learn from him, you imitate until those habits become your own. Following means you lay down your pride. You stop pretending you have it all figured out. You take correction without getting defensive. You accept discipline without resentment. And you follow until you grow strong enough to lead. And as a side note, I will tell you in all the years of my experience, professionally, personally, working with men around the globe when it comes to their marriages, and men very much like the ones that are listening to me now, I can tell you this. Every great leader at one time or another was a very good or great follower. So you follow until you grow strong enough to lead. That's the natural order of men. We all start as followers. Even the best leaders are still following someone. They have mentors, advisors, and brothers who sharpen them. Following the right men gives you structure. It gives you wisdom and it gives you accountability. But following the wrong men can destroy you. If the men you follow are passive, soft, addicted, or spiritually dead, you'll become the same. So choose your examples carefully. You're going to become like the men you listen to. So choose those who live with strength, purpose, and conviction. And once you've learned from them, once you've built up your foundation, then it's time to step up and become the leader. Don't stay a follower forever. Use what you've learned to become the man others can follow. And if you will follow, follow with humility. Because humility is not weakness, it's teachability. And teachable men rise fast, very quickly. And point number 3. If you're out, just be honest about it. You see, there are going to be leaders. There's going to be some of you that need to be followers for a season. And then there's the third group. Some of you won't lead. Some won't follow. You will stay out. You'll keep listening. You'll nod, say that's good, but you'll never change anything. You'll keep blaming your wife for everything wrong in your life. You'll keep saying it's too late. You'll keep waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. You'll pretend to be fighting while secretly giving up. You'll live the rest of your life explaining why you never became who you were meant to be. And deep down, you'll know the truth that fear still owns you. You'd rather stay safe than risk failing again. You'd rather stay comfortable than rebuild your strength. But I need you to understand something. If you choose out, you're not just losing your marriage, you're losing your legacy. You're teaching your sons to hide. You're teaching your daughters that men can't be trusted to lead. You'll sit in the ashes of your own decisions, convincing yourself that peace means surrender. But it's not peace. It is decay. Every man who chooses out eventually faces the same ghost, the man that he could have been. And as you heard me say an episode or two ago, that's when your hell will begin. He shows up in quiet moments, in the mirror, that ghost of yours, in the silence between distractions. He looks at you with eyes that say you had one life and you wasted it. I implore you, gentlemen, don't be that man. But if you are out, at least be honest about it. Say it out loud. Say, I'm not going to lead. I'm not going to follow. I am done. And then sit in that. Feel the weight of it. And if that doesn't break you, nothing ever will. And finally, as we wrap up this series, some final thoughts, gentlemen. Every man must decide what he's going to do with his life. You don't get to drift anymore. You don't get to claim ignorance. You've heard the truth. You've been called out, you've been called up, and you've been called forward. Now the decision is yours. You will lead, you will follow, or you will get out of the way. And again, if you lead all the way. And if you follow with humility and learn as you ascend. And if you are out, stop pretending otherwise. This war doesn't end because the series ends. It ends when you act. Fear dies when men move. Leadership lives when men commit. You've been given everything you need to start in this series. Now it's time to decide who you are. So as we wrap up, here's your marching orders for this week with this episode. Pick your word, gentlemen. Right now, as you hear me finish, lead, follow, or out. Pick your word now. Write it down, speak it out loud, own it. And then if you have the balls, text me your word. 812-648-3380. I dare you. Just text me that one single word. If you text lead, I'll know you're stepping into the fire. If you text follow, I'll know you're ready to learn so that you can ascend. And if you text out, I'll know you've surrendered. I don't care. I can't make that decision for you. It's entirely up to you. But right now, you choose. Because indecision is still a decision. It is fear having victory over you. You heard the bell at the beginning. You know that means we're in the ring to fight. This may have felt like I was fighting against you, but the truth is I am in your corner and I am fighting for you. You are not done. You are not broken beyond repair. You're standing in this moment that will define the rest of your life. So again, my question as I finish, will you lead? Will you follow? Or will you get out of the way? Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.